Okay, welcome everyone. Good afternoon or morning, depending on where you're located. Today, of course, we're going to start talking about success through smarter site selection and study feasibility. So we are going to approach the idea of site selection from both the perspective of the sponsor as well as the site. So we'd like to start off a little bit with introductions. My bio is up here. Just briefly, I'll tell you that I've been involved with clinical research for 4 decades. Started out as a coordinator in academia. I am located here in New York City. Transitioned after about 20 years at sites to industry as a CRA. I also held positions such as study manager, also positions in the quality arena, quality oversight, so a variety of roles. One of my favorite positions, though, was as a CRA with a sort of a side job, if you will, as a site selection specialist. So I'm happy to talk to you today about some lessons learned and some tips that might be helpful for you. These are our objectives today. We want to look at the steps in evaluating a site from, as I said before, both the sponsor and the site's perspective, and identify key questions to ask during a feasibility assessment, and then explore how a site may become preferred by sponsors by implementing best practices at that site, and how sponsors can actually facilitate and help develop some of those sites. Okay, so let's take a look at the goals of site selection. Now, we have the sponsor goals and the site goals. Okay, when we look at the sponsor, from the sponsor's perspective, what do they want? They want high-quality sites, all right, and they want timely data. They want people to meet their enrollment targets on time, obviously, and they want to come within budget or even under budget. It's a tall order to get all of those things. I once worked for a company, and one of our VPs very aptly said, you can usually get 2 of the 3, but not all 3. You know, to have your high quality data, have it on time, and come in within budget. Usually one of those things suffer. But hopefully we can pull things together to get things really close. Now, from the site goal, what is your goal if you're at the site? You want a protocol you can actually do. So you want an operational protocol, something that folks will want to participate in, something that is not going to be so difficult, whether it's the logistics of it in terms of too many visits or invasive procedures or what have you. The other thing that motivates investigators, of course, is a novel treatment. They like to, if there's scientific interest, they want to be the first to kind of look at this new product and use it. Adequate budget. We need the money to implement this properly, so they need an adequate budget. And what they're looking for also is some support from the sponsor. Now, that support may come in terms of not only financial, but it could also come into play in terms of the training that they will expect the sponsor to help support, maybe certain tools. So again, that sponsor support is important. So we have these 2 tracks, if you will, the sponsor goals and the site goals. And we're going to be addressing now site selection and feasibility from both of these perspectives. So what are some of the challenges a sponsor faces? So we think about the trial placement considerations, right? When the sponsor is looking at their protocol and looking at what they need to do, and they're talking with their clinicians and so on, they need to figure out, where are we going to place these studies? The first thing they're going to look at is the global distribution of their sites and the subjects. Where are the subjects? Is it a disease that's particular to a certain area? That will, of course, drive where they're going to be placing their sites. Where is their footprint? Where is their global footprint? pharmaceutical companies are working in varieties of regions, countries, and so where is it that they want to place these studies? Where do they have staff? Where do they have monitoring staff? Where do they have CROs they can work with? So again, thinking more outside the box, not just US, but global trials. Where do we have the resources that can support overseeing and placing these studies in these other countries and regions? What are the startup times by country? What are the regulatory bodies in those countries? So these are all things that they need to consider.